guys. You're so quiet. Thanks for coming to see some kids from Winnipeg. So for those people watching at home, welcome. Hopefully some people from Winnipeg stayed up really super late. No, we did not get burned up in a forest fire. This part of the country is actually doing okay. You guys had a blue sky today, which is an entirely a new thing in the last 2 weeks. All right. Ready?
Yes.
She's got one foot over and the other foot on the shore. Until let go behind her, she could resist that water no more. Oh, it's a deep river that you're in. No, Mama, no. It's a deep river that you're in. No, Mama, don't go. Her mama's in up to her neck, and the water's starting to rise. She used the bottle to dry the tears from her pretty blue eyes. Oh, it's a deep river that you're in. No, Mama, no. Mama, don't go.
Oh, thank you, guys. So, we're going to do a couple covers just to sort of explain the backstory of the band. We first played together ever in December of 2015 when Emma was asked to play a Stan Rogers tribute show that I was part of the backing band for. Nathan Rogers, Stan's son, lives in Winnipeg, and I play with him on occasion. And I was part of the Late Western Airs. And Emma came by and sang a few lovely songs, so we thought we would do a tribute to the tribute.
I'll send this one out to my dad, who I was told is emailing incessantly. I love you, Dad. This is for you. Where the earth shows its bones, a wind, broken stone, and the sea and the sky one. Call it a time, the blood sings with wine, and I'm right naked in the sun. There's God in the trees, I'm weak in the knees, and the sky is a painful blue. I like to look around, but honey, all I see is you. Where the summer city lights will soften the night till you think that the air is clear. I'm sitting with friends with 45 cents to buy another glass of beer. He's got something to say, but I'm so far away that I don't know who I'm talking to. 'Cause you just walked in the door, honey, all I see is you. And I just wanna hold you closer than I've ever held anyone before. You say you've been twice a wife and you're through with life. Oh, but honey, what the hell's it for? After 23 years, you think I could find a way to let you know somehow that I just want to see your smiling face 45 years from now.
Stage every night, I've been reaching out to find a friend who knows all the words, sings so she's heard, and knows how all my stories end. Maybe after the show she'll ask me to go home for a drink or two. Now her smile lights her eyes, but honey, all I see is you.
Oh, and I just wanna hold you closer than I've ever held anyone before. You say you've been twice a wife and you're through with life. Oh, but honey, what the hell's it for? After 23 years, you think I could find a way to let you know somehow. I just want to see your smiling face 45 years from now. I just wanna hold you closer than I've ever held anyone before. Say you've been twice a wife and you're through with life. Oh, but honey, what the hell's it for? After 23 years, you think I could find a way to let you know somehow that I just wanna see your smiling face 45 years from now. There you go. Little Stan Rogers, 45 years. So it was following that Stan Rogers show that I got the idea that maybe Dale and I should play music again. And this was only last year. So in that period of time, I think we're well over 85 shows now. We've toured into
8 out of 10 provinces.
8 out of 10. I got lost sometimes. I'm like, where are we right now? 8 out of 10 provinces. And we're booked until the end of next year. So I feel like this abduction is going fairly well.
We're doing okay.
We're doing okay. But I thought it'd be great, if I played some music again with Dale. So I invited him to come and join me at a big event that I host for about 400 people at a venue called the West End Cultural Center in Winnipeg. And Dale came and he joined a whole bunch of amazing fiddle players on stage in what I thought would be sort of a fiddle battle royale of faster Celtic music. And Dale had a little trick up his sleeve when he brought this stunning piece by Oliver Schroer, which was very laid back and beautiful. And it sort of really set the tone for the idea that I really had to play music with him on a more permanent basis. So without further ado, this is Oliver Schroer's A Song for All Seasons. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Well, we were visiting some of our host families. Our first tour happened to be a Home Roots tour. Are you guys familiar with what Home Roots is by any chance? No? Home Roots is a really great organization. It's really cool. They basically take artists, the kinds of artists that you'd find at any of your folk festivals across Canada, and they round them up in the off-season and send them to people's homes to perform live music concerts for between 20 and 60 people at a time. And it's an amazing opportunity, literally coast to coast in Canada and all the way up to the Yukon. We were offered a Home Roots tour in September of last year. And what was really cool about that was that I went in, and it was the day after Dale and I had played together at that big show at the West End Cultural Center. And the artistic director, I was talking to him, and he said, well, who are you going to tour with? And I just happened to blurt out that the stranger standing next to me, that he and I might just be a band, actually. And I didn't give that any thought. I just sort of blurted it out. And then all of a sudden, we were a band. The only problem is Dale had no idea. So it was a simple matter of me letting him know that I was going to be abducting him on a tour across the country. And in that, in the effort for the writing in that first tour, we thought about all the miles we would have to cover between Manitoba and Alberta, which at the time seemed like a really far distance, as I speak to you now from Duncan, BC, where we had our feet in the ocean.
Yeah.
So we wrote a tune called One More Mile. One of the hosts we were visiting recently, he sort of looked at the itinerary of all the places that we go, and he looked at us very glibly and said, man, you guys put on a lot of miles, don't you? And we absolutely do. The car rolled over. Not over on itself. Everyone calm down.
Last September, we saw the odometer click over to 40,000 kilometers, and on the way out here, it clicked over to 60. So that key is going to die a miserable, miserable death.
Don't tell the warranty company. We got ourselves a really judgmental oil change. Remind me to tell you about that later. There you go, Dad. Somebody rotated the tires and they checked the oil. They gave me new windshield wipers and all the judgment they could afford. This is One More Mile. You guys can sing along from home. I won't hear you, but I know you're singing. In the mirror, an orange hue that gives way to the skies of blue. One more mile, measuring the time in miles. The road sign says I've got a while. One more mile, and the patchwork quits, form its graying away to a passing train, as if to say a last goodbye. Mountains tear the sky for one more mile, one more mile. Once again I park the car, grab my suitcase and my guitar for one more mile. Make it to the final song, and everybody sings along. One more mile, then drive back
darkest, through the night, underneath the northern lights. His painted smiles fade away, and white lines guide me on today. For one more mile, one more mile. Been 2 months since I've been gone, and the last 2 hours seem just as long. One more mile. City limits now in sight after driving all through the night. One more mile. Bones are weary and eyes are sore as I walk through my front door. Know that once again I'm home. I feel that I may never roam. Not for one more mile. One more mile. One more mile. One more mile.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
They make it hot, Duncan.
So, we were at One More Mile back in, I guess, May or June of 2016. Yeah. Because we needed to have an album of some sort ready to really, really quickly. But when we went to record our next CD, we liked it enough that we decided to put it on there as well. And we thought that was going to be the title track until there was an election down south. Hello, America, if you're watching. And we'd had sort of a kernel of a song already on the go, sort of about the barriers that happen between people and breaking them down, and metaphors, etc. And the phrase "all walls fall" came to mind. And that seemed fairly apropos. So that became the title track of our latest CD, All Walls Fall.
You're getting ourselves all confused in the heat up here. Yeah, All Walls Fall is the latest album, and we're really proud of it. We recorded it all ourselves in a cabin, basically locked ourselves away in the Manitoba wilderness in 40 below with no electronics except for the soundboard and the computer, and got to work, made an album. And that album's done really well for us. It's been on the national folk roots and blues charts for 2 solid months. And fortunately, we had no plans to travel to the States, as we're now officially on the Do Not Fly list because of this song. Some are built just to divide. Some are built to keep something inside.
Round the city, round apart, one more way to keep us apart. Brick by brick, over time, we grow too high for anyone to climb.
There's 2 sides to every wall, and in the end, all walls fall. All walls fall. All walls fall. All walls fall anyway. For protection or out of fear, all the signs say stay away from here.
Remember, you're not welcome in this town.
Only love can tear them down. All walls fall.
them names. In the end, rubble's what remains.
Nothing's constant, that's okay. Just remember, at the end of the day, all walls fall, all walls fall, all walls fall anyway. All walls fall, all walls fall, all walls fall anyway.
Thank you. I love knowing that there's an American in the audience.
There is.
The gentleman, well, both gentlemen are sort of at the back from us, but the gentleman further to the back is just in from California, I believe I heard. Florida.
Florida.
The other.
All right. He's not really American. He's not really. He just likes alligators. Just a mad fan of alligators.
So he's finding this actually cool and temperate here. For
yeah.
those of you in internet land, BC's having BC's on fire right now.
Yeah.
And the normally temperate ocean climate is, I think, 35 degrees Celsius, which is something like 140 Fahrenheit or something ridiculous.
Hot. It is so hot. It's hot in the car. It's hot on the stage. It's hot everywhere. So we just keep finding as many lakes and rivers and anything we can swim in without getting pulled into an undertow or eaten by a shark, basically. So we've been having fun with the tour across Canada, but we really were not prepared. Not in our wardrobe, not in the climate, not for anything. So, gentlemen from Florida, I applaud you for coming up here to the Arctic to hang out with us in this chilly 35 above. All right. Well, we'll just keep rolling right along here. This is another tune off of All Walls Fall. This is a cool tune called Leave the Light On. And if people in Winnipeg are watching, you will recognize the instrument we are demonstrating over here. This is a cigar box guitar made in Winnipeg. Funny story, I like to buy my groceries at a farmer's market, which out here is not really that big of a deal because everything's a farmer's market here. But at home, we only have one or two. And there's this really big one down in the south end of Winnipeg that I like to go to buy my groceries in the summertime. So I took all my grocery money there. And I was very early in the morning because at our farmer's market, if you don't get there early, then you might as well not go at all because there'll be nothing left. And right there, as I walked in, there were these instruments in a tent that were right between me and the produce, which was opportune for them and terrible for my grocery budget. So I tried to convince myself not to go into the tent, don't touch the instruments, and I failed miserably as I picked it up and played it and really, really enjoyed the way it sounded. It has no business sounding as good as it does. It is a literal cigar box with a plywood neck, 3 strings, and a pickup. But I liked it, and I thought, okay, well, I just need the voice of reason real quick. So I sent Dale a text message hoping that he would talk me out of it. Dale doesn't do mornings. For morning time for Dale occurs sometime around 3 p.m., and this was 7:45 in the morning. So I hedged my bets knowing that he would likely not respond, and I would accept that as consent. And that's exactly what happened. He did not respond, and I purchased it, and we had no groceries. But we have a good story, and we have a very fun little instrument. This is made by Chris Freeman in Winnipeg, and if he is watching right now, we brought your cigar box all the way to the ocean, and we have not yet used it as a paddle.
Both oceans.
That's correct. The cigar box has been to both oceans. This is our West Coast run. We've been to the East Coast. We're headed to the East Coast again. So without further ado, this is Leave the Light On.
Well, the barman says last call, and someone's crying in his beer. Too drunk to be strangers. He's telling anyone who would hear. talking bittersweet sweethearts. He says I crossed the line. But maybe my baby will forgive me just one more time and leave the light on for me. Leave the light on for me. When it is too dark to see, leave the light on. Well, she's whiskey on Sunday, and he's too drunk to sleep. She's too hard to handle, and he's too cold to keep. You swing the hammer, just leave the light on for me. Leave the light on for me. When it is too dark to see, leave the light on for me. Everyone needs a little kindness. No one likes good advice. I know it's nice to be important, more important to be nice. Beggars can't be choosers. Pride comes for the fall. If you can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. Just leave the light on for me. Leave the light on for me. When it is too dark to see, leave the light on. Leave the light on for me. Leave the light on for me. When it is too dark to see, leave the light on.
guys. Sure. All right, well, we got another song here that I think my dad will be really excited. Seems like a nerdy thing to say on a stage, but I know how unbelievably excited he must be right now. So, hi, Dad.
You're on the internet.
I'm on the internet. All right.
That means you're not only famous, but everything you say is true.
Right. No fact checking needed.
So back in July for Canada Day, our friends from Winnipeg, Red Moon Road, asked us to be part of a show they were doing at the Forks, which is sort of a big meeting place in Winnipeg for the 150th celebrations. And all they told us was, we're doing the Great Canadian Songbook. So pick a Canadian artist and do one of their songs. And we looked at who else would be playing, and we realized that the amount of folk that would be represented in the repertoire that evening would be pretty minimal. So we figured we better make ours good. So we're both big James Keelahan fans, and we figured we'd do one of his.
All right, this is the Hillcrest Mine.
Well, down in the mine, the process past the men who toil and labor, sweating cold from the womb of the pit, smell of the life they savor. And in that mine, young man, you'll find wealth of broken dreams, just as long and as dark and as black and as white as the coal in the Hillcrest seam. And they say you don't go, say you don't go, say you don't go down in the Hillcrest mine. Say you don't go, say you don't go down in the Hillcrest mine, 'cause it's one short step. You might leave this world behind. Say you don't go, say you don't go down in the Hillcrest mine.
Well, I've heard a whisper in the light of dawn. The mountain sometimes moves. That bodes hell for the morning shift, 'cause you know what you're gonna lose. So don't go, my son, with the teeth cold runs till you're back on the mine in the hill. 'Cause if the dust and dark and the gas don't get you, then the goons and the bosses will.
Say you don't go, say you don't go down in the Hillcrest mine. Say you don't go, say you don't go down in the Hillcrest mine, 'cause it's one short step. You might leave this world behind. Say you don't go, say you don't go down in the Hillcrest mine. Well, son, I'm gonna open up, I'm gonna have my say. You'll get no peace from the Hillcrest mine, so the peace of an early grave. And go out and work for the workers' rights, go work for the workers' needs. Don't stay down here to toil for a buck and be a tool for the owner's greed. Say you don't go, say you don't go down in the Hillcrest mine. Say you don't go, say you don't go down in the Hillcrest mine, 'cause it's one short step. You might leave this world behind. Say you don't go, say you don't go down in the Hillcrest mine. Say you don't go down in the Hillcrest mine. Say you don't go, say you don't go down in the Hillcrest mine, 'cause it's one short step. You might leave this world behind. Say you don't go, say you don't go down in the Hillcrest mine.
Oh, the classics.
The classics. Had you heard of James Keelahan before? Nope, something to Google. There you go.
He's pretty fantastic,
Just need a little water.
to say the least. Yes, a little water is going to be good. So, the temperature on stage sort of brings this song around nicely. Last summer, we got asked by the Winnipeg Folk Festival to do what they call their minstreling. So, as an artist, you're walking around playing acoustically for volunteers a lot of the time, or you're playing in the campground, things like that. And Winnipeg, despite the reputation for being cold, gets really, really, really hot in the summer. Like 40 degrees with the humidity is easily achieved. And it was that when we were playing. And a few days before, I had been listening to a band at the Times Changed in Winnipeg and misheard a lyric. And what I thought they said was, "You leave me cold, so cold I can't get warm." And I thought, that's a great lyric. And realizing that that's not what they said, I thought we would use that, because that's a very Winnipeg-y lyric. And so, in 40-degree heat, I tell this to Emma and just leave her with the line. And about a week later, with scowling look, she comes to me and says, "I wrote the rest of the song."
Couldn't get that song out of my head. I was standing over the air conditioning vent praying for mercy before we headed out to a festival again. And all I could think of is, "You leave me cold, 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 so cold I can't get warm." So from up here in the stage lights, I'm thinking about being cold.
So we'll probably do this one and take a little tiny break to cool down, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And then we'll come back and play some more songs.
Sounds good to me.
Can feel storms coming, and there ain't no point in running. Weak in the knees, my skin's on fire. Chase the truth, and I'll never tire. Leave me cold, cold, cold. So cold, cold, cold that I can't get warm. Leave me cold, 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 cold. So cold, cold, cold that I can't get warm. Walk from the ashes and let it burn. If there's a lesson I refuse to learn, let the preacher preach to the congregation about your righteous indignation. Leave me cold, cold, cold. So cold, cold, cold that I can't get warm. Leave me cold, 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 cold. So cold, cold, cold that I can't get warm. Well, the story starts unless the pages turn. Smoke in the distance as the red sky burns. You're a mess, I'm kerosene. Too kind to be cruel and too honest to me. Leave me cold, 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 cold. So cold, cold, cold that I can't get warm. Leave me cold, cold, cold. So cold, cold, cold that I can't get warm. Leave me cold, 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 cold. So cold, cold, cold that I can't get warm. Leave me cold, 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 cold. So cold, cold, cold. So cold, cold, cold. So cold, cold, cold that I can't get warm.
Thanks, you guys. We are the New Customs, and we're going to take a quick break and return to Winnipeg temperature and then come back to you at about 5 to 10. Stick around. So, welcome back to the folks in Duncan here and the folks from afar. We had a nice cool down outside. It got beautiful. Something about the ocean has a tendency to get the sun out of the way. We got no problems anymore. It's nice and cool out there. You guys okay if we play you a song we wrote today? All right, that's why I've got this in front of me. I'm not actually an amateur. I just can't possibly remember all the things that we wrote down today. The light is working. The light is on.
We went for a stroll in Victoria yesterday on our day off. And it's a very, very vibrant downtown. Lots going on, and you see the tourists and the buskers and the panhandlers. Pretty sure we might have seen what might be the last show a busker ever played. It was a very odd experience.
Sad. That's not what the song's about, but it was entirely tragic, actually. It was one of those moments where, as a performer, where you kind of wanted to give him a hug, but I wasn't really sure he was serious for the majority of the time.
I know for a fact he did not smell the best.
Dale got pulled up as one of the volunteers to help this guy get on top of a giant unicycle. And anyway, I guess everything sort of went wrong for this fella, and he just sort of melted down in front of 100 people, and then refused to take everyone's money, and then pouted and got on his iPhone. It was really weird. We sort of drove home the whole way, and we're we Googled more than we should have about this particular individual. We're like, is this a thing he does? Is that how he gets money from people? Is this the... Anyway, it was emotionally taxing. That is not what the song is about. But what the song is about, and I won't tell you too much, but sort of the experience of walking around and bearing witness to the things happening around you. And in Victoria, it was a really interesting dichotomy between the people that have and the people who do not. And that's what spawned this song. So forgive me if we screw it up, but listen close, I'll do my best. Starting tune? In tune-ish?
Let's take a second.
Yeah, I'm going to just fix this because it doesn't like the heat either. Seems to think it's all right. So we'll just mess with the capo. That's super weird that it's doing that. Sorry guys, this will be so much better if it's in tune, mostly because then I won't be making that twitchy face as I play it. That sounds right.
And they're selling religion on Government Street. next to the homeless with nothing to eat, and the paper-lined pockets of passers-by, everyone vying for a piece of the pie. And the hardest working people are working for free, but they're selling religion on government street. Ooh. And the people pay rent on the places they haunt. You get what you need, but not what you want. The beggars and the buskers compete, and they're selling religion on government street. Ooh. They're selling religion on government street. In cities like this, they wear a disguise, pulling the wool over sheep's eyes, pushed to the side of the edge, and they're selling religion on government street. Ooh. Selling religion on government street. It's a paper-thin line that borders two sides. Some fell further down in hard times. The flockless street preacher won't accept defeat, and they're selling religion on government street. Ooh. Sell what we all own for free, but they're selling religion on government street. But they're selling religion on government street.
Thanks, you guys. Well, that went not too bad for the very first time.
Well, considering that song's about 7 hours old.
Let me get this big old thing out of the way.
So we'll go from a very, very young song to a very old song. We played a festival last summer that sort of voluntold our set list a little bit. They said, we'd love to hire you, and we'd love if you tried to do this song, Wink, Wink, Wink. Which basically means, if you play the song, you'll get the gig. So we took the gig, and we learned the song. We really like the song. It's a very, very old Irish song that was actually translated from Gaelic into English by Sinead O'Connor's grandfather, of all people. So when Sinead O'Connor does her version, she at least comes by it honestly. So this one's called Stretched Upon Your Grave.
Stretched upon your grave, and I'll lie here forever. If your hand were in mine, I'd be sure we would not sever. My apple tree, my brightness, each time we were together. For I smell of the earth, and I'm warm by the weather. When my family thinks that I am safely in my bed, from morn until night I am stretched out at your head, calling out into the earth with tears hot and wide, for the loss of the girl I loved as a child. Do you remember the night, oh the night we were lost in the shade of the black lawn and the touch of the floors? Oh, and thanks be to Jesus, we did know that was right. And the maidenhead still was your pillar of light. When the priests and the friars, they approached me in dread, for I love you still, my life, you are dead. Now will still be a shelter through rain and through storm. With you in your cold grave, I cannot sleep warm. and I'll lie here forever. If your hands were in mine, I'd be sure they would not sever. My apple tree, my brightness, it's time to burn together. For I smell of the earth, and I'm warmed by the weather. That'll make it warmer.
Hey, how about,
Wait.
Farmhouse, or do you want to do tunes, or?
Oh, no. Let's do, let's do Farmhouse. All right. I'm going to play you guys a pretty song. A big hand in recognition for the sound guy, Tim. I got to tell you, Tim, I've had a lot of sound guys in my life. And if you could just get in the Kia right now and come with me everywhere we go, I would be inordinately happy. I am so impressed. So we make a lot of noise for two people, and then sometimes we also play music. So. Well, I was trying to figure it out. There was like a half connection. What's that?
He said after all the praise and recognition, you give him the big clunk by plugging a cable back in.
There's nothing I could do. There's actually a lot I could have done. I did none of it. I'm sorry. You know what? I noticed that it had come out, and I was like, what happened to the bass? I'm a big fan of the bass on the guitar.
Not only is it Winnipeggers trying to get accustomed to plus 35, it's Winnipeg instruments.
Yeah.
You know, these things I've seen. It's weird when you consider that our instruments have done Festival de Voyageur in the middle of February in winter, and so these things I've seen minus 40 to almost plus 40.
Do you know, though, we had a very mild February.
It's true.
We were fortunate. Actually, Festival de Voyageur is this winter festival that we have in Winnipeg, which, by proxy of the fact that they have a festival in the wintertime, I think it's just mean. But I don't fully understand the thought process behind.
It's the only thing that keeps Winnipeggers going between New Year's Eve and St. Patrick's Day.
That's true. But they're like, quick, get dressed as warm as you can. Everybody go stand outside for 4 days. But this year, there was grass. It was the weirdest. It was actually the most dangerous Festival de Voyageur there had ever been, because it all melted and turned to black ice, and then people were just falling down everywhere. Mostly because the music was so good, they'd just fallen all over themselves. But I'll stop with the terrible jokes, I promise.
That's a lie.
Okay, eventually we'll be done, and then the terrible jokes will stop. Can I get a little bit more of the acoustic in the monitor, please? All right, this is my tune called "The Old Farmhouse," and this one ended up on the new album as well. If anybody is interested in purchasing an album who's here, just come see us afterward. And if anybody from afar would like to purchase an album, then you can find them at www.thenewcustoms.com. Or you can also send us a message. If you've managed to find us this far, I assume you probably know who we are.
every sunset for the last 100 years set on that hill in the west. I've seen seasons change through these old window panes, felt the chill of winter in my copper veins. Oh, but at one time in my prime was the pride of this 100 acres and those fields of gold you fortunes for. There were just too few takers. And the house used to be home. Now all I am is empty wooden bones. The yard's unkept, the garden's overgrown. I'm the house that used to be home. I'm the house that used to be home. Just when pass by, I'm just an old abandoned farmhouse by the roadside. The two men that built the porch that wraps around. I'm the house you raised up his fertile ground. Oh, but at one time in my prime, first clothes hung right there on the line. I smell the apple pie, hear the baby cry. Fiddle music from my front porch. And the house used to be home, but now all I am is empty wooden bones. The yard's unkept, the garden's overgrown. I'm the house that used to be home. I'm the house that used to be home. Curtains that you hung with care, faded but still hanging there by the now broken kitchen window pane. And the door frame that you marked always your children grew stands as a reminder of the people that passed through. I'm the house that used to be home, now all I am is empty wooden bones. The yard's unkept, the garden's overgrown. I'm the house that used to be a home. I'm the house that used to be home. I'm the house that used to be home. Empty wooden bones. The yard's unkept, the garden's overgrown. I'm the house that used to be home. I'm the house that used to be home.
Thanks, you guys. I think we'll finish it off with one more tune here. I've had a really good time. I don't know why that's doing that. That's actually a mute button. I'm not sure why that does that. I've had a really good time here with you guys in Duncan. The last time I was in Duncan, we played at the other venue, and while we were driving around, I actually can't figure out where the other venue might have been. So I'm going to go with this is the only one there has ever been, and it's good to be back.
Long John, if you're watching this, we missed you. We understand that you have certainly earned your days off, but I'll never forget being here about, it had to be about 13 years ago, playing, well, not here, but the old Duncan Showroom, and seeing your prized invention, the leather wind chimes.
What?
Leather wind chimes.
That's genius.
I know. They don't make noise.
That's the best kind of wind chimes there is. They're right here.
They're up at the front. Yeah, they're over at the front. We'll get a live view and a high definition recording of the leather wind chimes.
Okay, I love them.
See? Because who needs to know at 3 o'clock in the morning if it's windy on your neighbor's porch? There you go, Long John.
They make some noise, but not enough
Not
to be
enough to
obnoxious.
wake you up.
I love that. Good job, Long
They're
John.
like mixed up right now.
You guys need to start a sort of a podcast between show, just like 3-minute talks with Lon John.
3-minute talks with Long John? Yeah, I was gonna say.
I know the editing would be hell, but
It's like a 60-minute program based on title 3-minute talks with Long John.
it's a 20-part series.
20-part series. Now on Netflix.
Oh, we're doing that one. Yeah. I'll get you.
Yeah, so we'll make this the last tune. There's a, inspiration comes in funny places. And just like the song that we shared with you that we wrote today, you never really know who we're going to meet and how they're going to inspire us. And there's a couple of Winnipeg musicians that each one had sort of inspired me in their own right. But not so much that I wanted to make an entire song about them. And because that's a little weird, it's not like a dating app or something. So I didn't want them to get, all sensitive about it. But it was really inspired by this one musician who I now title our shipwreck in a bottle. So if you see our T-shirts around, they say he's a shipwreck in a bottle, and that's the last of them over there. But this particular individual said to me, surrounded by all the liquor that I thought any one human football team could consume, he said, "Don't worry, I was born addicted." And I was like, well, now you're screwed. You're in a song now. So I sort of mixed it all up, and we'd like to tell you that if you're not sure that you're that guy, if you're not sure if you have that friend, how would you phrase it? How did you phrase it before? What is the...
Everyone, there's sort of the strangers that pop up in every person's life. There's the weirdo on the bus. Everyone's seen the weirdo on the bus. If you haven't seen the weirdo on the bus, you are the weirdo on the bus. But everyone has that friend that you're surprised is just still alive, despite their best efforts. So this is sort of an ode to that friend.
Yeah, it is. All right, guys, we've had a lot of fun. Thank you so much, Tim, for having us here, and to Long John for booking us all the way from Winnipeg to Duncan, BC. And to you guys who came out to share the hot summer night with us, and all the people on the internet. Thank you, internet, and thank you all very much. All right.
Trouble follow him no more. 1, 2, 3.
He says, I was born addicted, and he finishes off his beer. Mountain of a man, undeserved by fear. With his arms draped over his guitar, he tells me stories as he sings. Some folks ain't like other folks when it comes to these things. He He's a white line philosopher and a road wise troubadour. He's a shipwreck in a bottle, trouble follow him no more. And he's wise beyond his learning, taught by what life has in store. Oh, let trouble follow him no more. The phone cries out at midnight, so we talk of many things, politics, religion, until my ears begin to ring. From the front seat of the big rig, with the pedal to the steel, scholar of the highways, preaching passion from the wheel. He's a white line philosopher and a road-wise troubadour. He's a shipwreck in a bottle, trouble follow him no more. And he's wise beyond his learning, taught by what life has in store. Oh, let trouble follow him no more. Spoken words, they envelop me like smoke, and he tells me of the prisons as he takes another toll. Sees the soul inside a man regardless of their crime. Oh, the jailhouse poet pioneer says that we're all doing time. He's a white line philosopher and a road-wise troubadour. He's a shipwreck in a bottle, trouble follow him no more. And he's wise beyond his learning, taught by what life has in store. Oh, let trouble follow him no more. He's a white line philosopher and a road-wise troubadour. He's a shipwreck in a bottle, trouble follow him no more. And he's wise beyond his learning, taught by what life has in store. Oh, let trouble follow him. Oh, let trouble follow him. And oh, let trouble follow him no more.
Thanks, you guys. We are the New Customs. We had lots of fun with you tonight. Good night, Internet. Woohoo.
Sometimes I get weary hearing the news. It's really no news at all. It's the same old story. Brothers killing brothers. They haven't heard the news. Well, I'm so glad there's a new world.